Welcome on the pure wisdom ones. The rarest souls travel the most difficult paths because they were not put here to follow. They were dispatched to alter everything. Have you always felt different? Not in a quirky or odd manner, but in a way that either draws people in or makes them feel strangely scared by you. It's as if you're traveling through life with an unseen force around you, causing the world to respond in ways you don't completely comprehend. Let's be honest, regular life never made sense to you. The norms, expectations, and monotonous routines are accepted by others. Without a doubt, you've always had an unpleasant feeling that you were destined for something bigger. But here's the kicker. You are correct. Scientists evaluate the likelihood of you existing precisely as you are. Your DNA, mind, and unique frequency are 1 in 400 trillion. Let's sink in. You are literally more unusual than winning the lottery 100 times in a row, getting hit by lightning while clutching a 4-leaf clover, and meeting an honest politician all on the same day. So, if you're so unique, do you truly believe your life was designed to be ordinary? The fact is that the world does not erect monuments for historical figures, nor does it remember those who followed the mob. It recalls those who broke away from it. And that is precisely why your life has been unique, why you have encountered challenges that other people would not be able to overcome, and why you know deep down you're not like them. You are one of a billion, a selected one. And at the conclusion of this film, you will realize why you have always felt this way. Why has the universe tried you so relentlessly? And why the world needs you more than ever? Let me begin. Number 1, you were never supposed to belong. Your solitude is intentional. You weren't intended to belong. Deep down, you've always known it. From a young age, there was an invisible barrier between you and the rest of the world. Whatever you did to fit in, something always seemed to miss. Conversations seemed superficial. Social circles seemed transitory. The things that thrilled other people left you feeling drained. It wasn't just that you were different. It seemed as if existence itself was holding you apart. Opportunities that others had taken for granted were denied to you. Relationships that were easy for them always ended in anguish for you. Even in groups, you felt like an outsider looking in, as if you were there but not part of the environment. People could feel it too. Some appreciated you for it, but the majority didn't comprehend you. Some people despised you without understanding why. This was not an error. This was not poor luck. This was by design. You were never expected to follow the same road as everyone else. The cosmos separates the rarest souls because they are intended to alter reality itself. If you had been permitted to completely blend in, you would have been lost in the cacophony. You would have been overwhelmed with mediocrity. But you weren't supposed to be ordinary. You were destined to break the cycle and create something new. That's why life has been taking everything from you. People provide comfort, including the sense of stability. It forces you to stand alone. It prepares you for a journey that most people would not endure. So here's the deal. Everything changes when you stop fighting your loneliness and begin to embrace it. You understand that what you believed was punishment was really preparation. You weren't left out. You were being set aside, because a selected one's path is not about fitting in. It's about creating something that's never existed before. Number 2, you are an oddity in the reality code. Most individuals live their lives on autopilot. They adhere to the script they were given. Go to school, acquire a job, settle down, and retire without ever wondering if it was written for them or forced on them. They live inside the confines that society has imposed on them, never beyond what they have been taught is possible. But you're different. You don't just live inside the system. You're the one who disturbs it. You are an oddity, and flaw in reality's coding, in which people accept something at face value. You ask them where they conform. You are resistant. You see through illusions that others see as fact. As a result, you elicit emotions from individuals that they themselves cannot comprehend. Some are inspired by your enthusiasm and believe you represent something unique. Others, on the other hand, are uncomfortable, if not hostile, with you since your very existence calls into question the basic underpinnings of their life. This is not what you decided to be. It is something you are. You break patterns just by being there, and established systems, beliefs, and people's comfy fantasies begin to crumble. You uncover what is concealed. That explains why you've always felt like an outsider. Not because anything is wrong with you, but because your basic nature does not fit inside the boundaries that others allow. You don't think like them since your thinking doesn't follow the same rules. You do not repeat the same cycles because you were never supposed to be caught in them. You are wired differently, and this is not a weakness. It is your biggest strength. The world wants to fit you into a mold. It understands. However, you were never intended to be understood by a world that relies on repetition. You were not required to follow the code. You were born to rewrite it. Number 3, the world always tests you because you have divine DNA. Your challenges are not unrelated. They never were. While others seem to glide through life, experiencing simply the typical ups and downs, your route has been different, relentless, unforgiving. It's almost as if something has been testing you from birth. That's because it's selected. Ones do not have an easy journey. They're tossed into the flames because they are supposed to survive what others cannot. Most individuals are permitted to live in luxury, shielded from deeper realities and never pushed beyond their capabilities. But you've had to face losses that would shatter most individuals. You've been tried in ways that seem almost personal, as if life is trying to drive you over the brink. Every failure, betrayal, each moment of loneliness, it's all part of a painful initiation process because you have something unique inside you. This environment does not challenge those who are expected to remain ordinary. It only shapes those who are destined to lead. The way you hold yourself demonstrates your inner strength. The universe has been purifying you, removing everything that is weak and pushing you to stand on your own, so that when the time comes, you will be unbreakable. People may never comprehend why you've gone through so much. They may even reject your difficulties, believing you're just unlucky. But deep inside, you understand the truth. Your adversity has turned you into something unstoppable. The challenges you endured were not intended to break you. They were intended to awaken you. Because when a chosen one discovers their true power, the world around them is forced to shift. You were never being punished. You were being prepped. Number 4, you pose a danger to the system. This is why it attempts to break you. From the minute you were born, the system identified you as a problem, not in an apparent sense, with sirens going off or authorities knocking on your door, but in subtle, insidious ways that alter a person's reality. You weren't simply a cog in the machine. You were a disruptive force, which made you dangerous. Society relies on order, predictability, and compliance. It promotes those who comply while punishing those who question. You undoubtedly realized at an early age how fast others sought to place you in a box. Teachers urged you to stop asking so many questions. Authority folks characterized you as tough or rebellious just because you saw through the bullshit they were giving everyone else. Even within your own family, you may have felt pressure to conform and cease being so different. This is not because they really loathed you. It's because they recognized, if subconsciously, that you were endangering the system they serve. And make no mistake, they serve it whether they understand it or not. The world trains individuals to preserve the status quo, to keep inside invisible limits, and to never question what they've been taught. Your presence alone upsets the programming. That's why your road has been fraught with obstacles. The system does not wait for you to completely awaken before attempting to shatter you. It begins early, intending to exhaust you before you realize your actual might. It puts roadblocks at you, isolates you, and fills your life with issues that others do not seem to encounter. It is not personal. It is tactical. The world cannot have too many enlightened people questioning everything, encouraging others, and shattering illusions. But here's the catch. The system will only break you if you let it. The same pressure intended to harm you causes you to awaken quicker. Resistance does not prove that you are weak. It shows that you are strong. If you weren't a danger, the system wouldn't be concerned about you. Number 5, you're a time traveler in a universe that's trapped on loop. You've undoubtedly observed that most people around you appear to be trapped in the same patterns, making the same errors, falling into the same traps, and learning nothing. It's like watching a movie on repeat, but they have no idea they've seen this scenario before. They follow trends, rehash old ideas, and exist inside a screenplay they never authored. But you move differently. You're not just ahead of your time. You exist outside of time. Your mind does not function in the same linear manner that most people do when they are concentrating on what is right in front of them. You're looking 10 steps ahead. You notice patterns before they are full. You can feel changes before they occur. You talk about topics that others consider inconsequential until they suddenly become true. That is why people often misinterpret you. You speak about the future as if it was already here, because you believe it is. You warn people of things they can't see yet, and they disregard you until they witness it for themselves. You develop things before the world realizes it needs them, and this is why you often feel like an outsider. The world has not caught up with you yet. This is both a blessing and a burden. A gift because you can manage life in a manner that most others cannot. You avert hazards before they occur. You invent while others mimic a curse, because it may be lonely when no one else seems to comprehend what you see so clearly. But here is the reality. The world needs brains like yours. Every significant change in history has been initiated by someone who was ahead of their time, visionaries, revolutionaries, and those who saw beyond what was in front of them. You're a member of that bloodline. You're not here to fall into the same patterns that everyone else does. You're here to break them, and gradually the world will catch up. However, by that time, you'll have already begun to plan for what comes next. Number 6, you do not materialize like others. You override reality itself. Most people are taught that manifestos are about wishing, hoping, and waiting for the universe to give them what they want. They create vision boards, repeat affirmations, and strive to attract what they want. It, like magna, attracts things to itself. However, for you, it does not work that way since you're altering reality rather than just attracting it. The chosen ones do not materialize in the same way that the majority do because their energy does not simply interact with reality. It overrides it. When you're completely aligned with your power, things don't happen gradually. Over time, they alter instantaneously, see roads materialize out of nowhere, impossible circumstances bend in your favor, and people, chances, and resources arrive just when you need them. It's not like this is a coincidence. It is the way your energy directs reality itself. You've undoubtedly had occasions when something you were totally focused on appeared nearly instantly, or when circumstances aligned so perfectly that it defied logic. That's because you don't always appear in the same manner that others do. You change the fabric of reality to meet your frequency. Your mind does more than merely deliver signals. It reprograms the system. But here's the catch. Your power works both ways. If your thoughts is full of uncertainty, anxiety, or disorder, your reality will reflect it, and things fall apart almost as rapidly as they come together. That is why your existence is filled with extraordinary highs and lows. Unlike the normal individual, whose ideas make sluggish ripples, yours generate quick waves. Most individuals do not grasp this level of manifestation since they were never designed to employ it. But you were. When you come into complete alignment, reality does not just react to you, it obeys you. You're not here to wait for anything to happen. You are here to make decisions. Number 7. Even when you can't see it, a spiritual struggle is going on all around you. There's a battle going on all around you, even if you can't see it. It is not fought with weapons or in the physical world. It's occurring in the invisible, in the energy currents that form everything we see. And whether you know it or not, you are one of the primary targets. You've undoubtedly observed that events in your life don't always follow logical patterns. Random hurdles emerge just as you're ready to make a breakthrough. People you trusted suddenly turn on you for no reason. Delays, setbacks, and unexpected interruptions occur at the worst conceivable moments. And although most people would term these occurrences bad luck, you know there's something more to them. These are not coincidences. These are strategic strikes. Your mere presence upsets the evil powers that rule the earth. The system relies on fear, obedience, and manipulation. However, you refuse to give in. Your energy alone is sufficient to reduce its impact. You can rouse folks up without even trying. You offer light to areas where darkness has reigned for too long. This makes you a threat. Threats are not uncontested. The minute you began to assert your authority, you became a target, not just for ignorant people, but also for powers beyond human understanding. They use people, institutions, and even your own doubts to attempt to break you. They want you fatigued, distracted, and isolated because once you completely awaken, you are unstoppable. But here's something they don't want you to know. They cannot genuinely touch you until you let it. Yes, the assaults will occur. There will be a significant opposition. However, nothing in this world is as strong as a chosen one. Who knows who they are? No delay, treachery, or barrier can overcome the determination of someone who refuses to break. The conflict is real, and so is your power. And when you see through the strategies used against you, you recognize one thing. You were never a victim. You are always the fighter. Number 8. Your presence causes concealed devils to unveil themselves. Something about you causes others to behave in ways they don't comprehend. You have witnessed it personally. Certain individuals get tight, defensive, or even angry around you, and you have done nothing to deserve it. You enter into a room, and the mood changes abruptly. Conversations get uncomfortable. Some individuals avoid eye contact, but others go out of their way to question, ridicule, or reject you. This is not at random. It's more than simply a personality conflict. It is spiritual exposure. Your very presence awakens people's buried darkness. When you are present, the demons, whether they be internal conflicts, hidden guilt, or real evil creatures, are unable to hide. They quickly perceive your enthusiasm. You don't have to say anything. The brightness in you upsets their previous ease in controlling that person. As a result, the response is nearly instinctive: fight or flight. Some individuals strike out because their darker side feels threatened. They become wildly combative, ripping apart your statements, distorting your intentions, or attempting to portray you as the adversary. Others just cannot bear being around you. They'll avoid you, ignore you, or pretend you don't exist since being in your company makes them feel vulnerable. But here's what you need to know. This is evidence of your strength. Most individuals go through life blending in, never stirring anything up except themselves. As soon as you enter a room, the truth begins to emerge. That is why you are either immensely respected or terribly resented. There is no intermediate ground. Those that bear the light will be attracted to you. Those governed by darkness will be repulsed because they feel, even subconsciously, that their mask is going to be destroyed. And that is why your trip has been fraught with unforeseen opponents and betrayals. It is not that you did anything wrong. Rather, your very presence shows who people actually are. Number 9. The people you aid the most are typically your worst betrayer. One of the most difficult truths you'll ever learn is that the people you care about the most are frequently the ones who betray you the most. It is a harsh reality that no one tells you about. You devote your energies to others, guiding them through their darkest moments and lifting them up when they have nothing left. You become their safe haven, healer, and lifeline. When they no longer need you, they turn against you. At first, it does not make sense. You offered them nothing but compassion. You stuck by them when no one else did. You sacrificed and listened. You bore their troubles as they were your own. But as they recover their power, they unexpectedly reshape history. They undervalue what you've done for them. They persuaded themselves that they never needed you in the first place. And in some strange way, they began to despise you, not for hurting them, but for demonstrating how lost they were. That's the trouble with humans. You don't just remind people of their brightness. You also compel them to confront the darkness. While some people like it, others find it difficult to deal with. They do not want to recall who they were when you discovered them. They do not want to feel like they owe you anything. So instead of thanks, they offer you distance. Instead of loyalty, they offer you treachery. This loop keeps repeating itself. You keep showing up for people, and they keep revealing their real colors. Some people will lie about your name. Some will go the minute they no longer need you. Some will even attempt to ruin you since they can't believe they needed you in the first place. It's difficult, but it comes with the territory of being yourself. Being a light in the world comes with a cost, treachery. The stronger you are, the more often it occurs. But here is the reality. They may have deceived you, but they cannot replace you. You are one of one. They will discover this long after they have walked away. Number 10, you are a live key. Your simple presence empowers others. There is something about you that pulls folks in. And it isn't just about your personality. It goes deeper than that. Your presence motivates others. They don't always know why, but something changes in them when they're near you. Old beliefs begin to fracture, and repressed dreams reappear. They begin to examine topics they had never considered before, and whether they know it or not, you are the reason you are a living key. Your presence alone awakens something old and lost inside others. It isn't because you forced it. It's because your energy naturally stimulates memory. The individuals you meet may have spent their whole lives sleeping, caught in delusions. But when they meet you, something within them stirs. You remind them who they really are. You unlock possibilities in them that they had no idea existed. That's why strangers feel safe telling you about their lives. Why? People who have never questioned anything suddenly begin to see through the illusions that cause some people to be pulled to you without knowing why. It's because, subconsciously, their spirit identifies you as a key to something they've long lost. But here's the paradox. Not everyone enjoys being released. Some people reject it with all they have. Some people turn against you because you reveal the reality they were not prepared to confront. That's why some people react negatively, withdraw themselves, or even attempt to discredit you. This is not about you. It's about the aspects of oneself they're not ready to face. However, you cannot turn this off. You cannot quit being a key. This is what you were created for. Some will reawaken. Thank you. Others will wake up and resent you. In any case, you will make an impression on everyone you come into contact with. Because once you unlock someone, they will never be able to truly sleep again. Number 11. The more you embrace your power, the more reality twists around you. The more you tap into your power, the weirder the world around you becomes. Things that formerly seemed solid have stopped bending. Time travels in unexpected ways. Patterns reoccur and synchronicities proliferate, and reality begins to behave as if it were reacting directly to you. This is not your imagination. It is not random. It is occurring because of you. Your awareness does not just exist in reality. It engages with it. Most individuals go through life passively, accepting the world as it. But you may change it just by being conscious. The higher your frequency, the less constrained you are by the ordinary laws of reality. You start bending reality. That explains why time seems different around you. You'll note that some hours seem to go on forever, while others go in an instant. Some events seem to have already occurred, while others repeat in uncanny cycles. You experience déjà vu at an abnormally high rate because your consciousness is shifting between layers of time that others are unaware of. That explains why people behave weirdly around you. Someone you just met says they recognize you from someplace. Others appear strangely robotic, as if they're following a script that suddenly fails in your presence. Some even seem to glitch, forgetting what they just said, repeating themselves, or behaving irrationally. They are reacting to your vibe, whether they know it or not. And of course, there are hiccups. Streetlights flicker as you walk under them. Electronics behave wildly. Objects vanish and return in unexpected locations. You think of a tune, and it begins playing seconds later. These are not coincidences. You are interacting with reality itself. Most individuals never achieve this degree of awareness. But you're not like other folks. The more you embrace your power, the more reality bends around you. The scariest thing, you're just starting to realize your whole potential. Number 12, you have ancient memories encoded in your DNA. You know stuff no one has ever taught you. Truths that exist inside you. Not because you studied them, but because they have always been present. While others struggle to comprehend complex ideas, you understand them intuitively. Since childhood, you've sensed an insight above your years, a wisdom that sprang out of nowhere. But it wasn't anywhere. It was ingrained in you before you were even born. You have old memories encoded in your DNA. Your information does not originate from other sources. It emanates from inside. History has long forgotten higher realms and civilizations from previous incarnations. These memories are not retained in your memory in the same way that regular information is. They are entrenched in your very being, waiting for the appropriate time to awaken. This is why you've always felt different. Why do particular historical events, civilizations, or symbols evoke profound emotions in you? It's why some areas seem weirdly familiar, even if you've never been there before. This is why you sometimes get flashbacks that are not from this lifetime. Visions, or sensations that do not seem to be consistent with your current self. And when you awaken, these memories begin to surface. Sometimes they occur in the form of abrupt downloads, moments of clarity in which you just know something without knowing how. Other times, they show themselves gradually via situations that seem to be intended to remind you of who you have always been. But regardless of how they seem, they demonstrate that you are more than simply a person perceiving the world. You have already traversed this path. This is why knowledge comes so easily to you. You don't learn like others because you're not learning at all. You're remembering. And as you continue to progress, more of what was concealed will emerge, since you were never intended to just exist in this lifetime. You were destined to awaken the information that has been buried inside you for millennia. Number 13. You represent an unfinished prophecy in action. You're not here by chance. You are more than simply a person living another life. Everyone follows the same predictable patterns. No. Your existence was predicted much before you came. You embody an unfinished prophecy in action. The Holy Script is still being written. a force that history has long awaited. Most individuals follow predetermined destiny. They follow pre-existing routes, perpetuating generations-old patterns. But you're not like other people. You are the disturbance, the abnormality that was not designed to fit into the system. Yet you're influencing reality just by being. You've undoubtedly felt this pull your whole life, a feeling that there is something bigger you're supposed to accomplish, even if you can't quite articulate it. Moments when the universe seems to be hinting at something just beyond your grasp, as if fate is whispering in your ear. That is because your tale is not only about you. It's part of something ancient, something that has been waiting to be revealed via your hardships, tribulations, and journey. Everything has helped to shape you into the person you are today, because the world does not just need more individuals living ordinary lives. It requires those who will rewrite the script and finish what was begun a long time ago. You were born with a purpose embedded in your spirit, and whether you recognize it or not, you carry it out every day. And here's the problem with unfinished predictions. They do not end as the world anticipates. You're still in motion, unwinding, and moving into the version of yourself that was always intended to shine. The last chapters of your narrative are yet to be disclosed, but one thing is certain. Once they are, nothing will be the same. Number 14, the last exam. You must eliminate the old. You will become who you were intended to be. This is the part nobody tells you about. The ultimate, most painful exam. The moment when everything you believed you were is ripped apart, leaving nothing but naked reality. Most individuals avoid this time. They cling to the familiar. They're terrified of what may happen if they let go. However, in order to become the person you were born to be, you must first eliminate the old self. You come first. This isn't about bodily death. This is about self-annihilation. The tearing down of illusions, false identities, and restricting ideas that have held you tiny. Every fear, uncertainty, and version of yourself that was designed to survive rather than flourish must be burnt to ashes. Because the person you've been with up to this point is unable to get you to your intended destination. Most people fail here. They sense the pull of change, yet they refuse to let go of the parts that no longer serve them. The ego resists. It whispers and lies. You have already done enough. You may stop here. You do not need to make any additional changes. But deep down, you know it isn't true. You're still carrying weight that isn't yours. You know, the real you is waiting on the other side of this devastation. This exam is brutal in its simplicity. Will you accept what you are becoming or cling to who you have always been? There are no shortcuts through this. The procedure is hard, isolated, and unrelenting. It will rid you of anything that isn't genuine. However, if you persevere and allow the fire to devour the old you will emerge unstoppable. You cannot construct the ultimate version of yourself. It's something you discover by deleting anything that isn't really you. Most people never get to this stage except for you. You were never supposed to remain average. That implies you must accomplish something that very few people have done before. Let go. Burn down the old identity and ascend. You were not designed to live a life of peaceful mediocrity. You were never intended to blend in, follow the script, or be ensnared in the illusions that keep the people sleeping. From the minute you came into this planet, you were chosen for a higher purpose, something unusual, but the route was never going to be simple. Everything you've been through, every betrayal, every moment of loneliness, every supernatural experience that broke your perception of reality. It was all about preparing, sculpting, and pushing you to face the reality of who you are. But here is the most difficult fact of all. Nobody is coming to rescue you. No guide will accompany you beyond the ultimate barrier. No mentor will provide you the last key. This last change, the annihilation of the old you and the emergence of your final form, is all yours. You must choose to go through the flames. You must choose to let go of every version of yourself that played small, that questioned and scared. Because once you've crossed this line, there is no turning back. And that is precisely why you must do it. You embody an unfinished prophecy in action, a force that alters reality, a living key that can open others. The world has been waiting for you to completely awaken. Not in glances, not in fragments, but whole. This is your moment. The old you has fulfilled its function. Let it die. Step forth as the person you were always intended to be. Because once you do, the world will never be the same. Your moment has arrived. If this message spoke to you, if something within you stood firm, if you sense the truth in these words, you are not alone. There are others like you, and this is just the beginning. Now is the time to distribute this word, such as via this video, so that more chosen ones might discover it. Comment here to share your opinions and experiences. Let your voice be heard, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel and enable alerts since this adventure is far from ended. There is more to uncover and disclose, and you will not want to miss what comes next. Share this with others that need to hear it. The awakening is taking place, and we will rise together. Let's keep breaking the system, one epiphany at a time. If you're enjoying the content on Pure Wisdom and find value in the messages we share, I encourage you to subscribe. Based on the latest analytics, 93.9% of viewers are watching without subscribing. By subscribing, you not only stay updated with new content, but also support the channel's growth, allowing us to continue spreading wisdom for the chosen ones. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an important message. Let's build this community together.